القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه المنتجبين وعلى جميع الأنبياء الله والمرسلين. Today we are going to talk about, if we get a chance, three things. We're going to review quickly Makki and Madany, and then we are going to talk about how the Quran was gathered, and is the Quran muharraf or not? Big topics. Definitely we cannot finish them all today. First of all, what's Makki and Madany? I mean, before I forgot, did we send a note to the group? I would appreciate it. Thank you. Let's start with Makki and Madany. What is Makki and what's Madany? And why is that important? Why is that important? Example. When you open your Quran, okay, a copy or the app, you open a surah, you're going to see in the surah it says Makki or Madany. I don't know if in your app, even in English, do they have that? I mean, open your phone and check that out.
بس هذا بالقرآن مكتوب فيها مكي مش مؤيد.
بس بالآن
By the end of the Quran, you can see Taha, to say in Arabic.
Yeah.
So we say, for instance, they say Al-Fatiha Makkiyya. They say Al-Baqarah, Surah Al-Baqarah Madaniya. They say Surah Al-An'am Makkiyya. So what's this and why it's important? What is this about and why is it important? Do you see it in your app? If you check the index, okay? Do you see it? Does it say Makki Madany? So they say so. Okay. So what is Makki and what is Madany? And why it is a big deal to some scholars? Makki is related to Mecca. Like, you are from Lebanon, you are Lebanon. Okay. You are from America, you are American. You are from Iraq, you are Iraqi. It was delivered in Mecca, then it is what? The ayah is Makkiyya. Makki, Makki. He is Makki, she is Makkiyya. Okay? The ayah mu'annath, so Makkiyya. And what's Madaniya?
From the Medina.
It is related to Medina. You are from Medina, you are Madani. Okay? Now, Medina, which Medina? We talk about Medina Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the place that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi migrated to. And the Prophet stayed about 13 years in Mecca. And when we say Mecca, where we have Kaaba. When you go to Hajj, you visit, at Kaaba, you visit so many places since the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Tawaf, around Kaaba, Safa wal Marwa, just name it. 13 years the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stayed in Mecca. And the Quran was delivered. After that, after they boycotted the Prophet, they hurt him, they decided to assassinate him, he migrated to Medina. The people in Medina, we call them Al-Ansar, because they helped the Prophet. The people in Mecca, we call them what? Al-Muhajirin, because they migrated. Hijrah means, migration. So here we have Al-Ansar and Muhajirin in Medina. We know what's Al-Medina, we know what's Mecca. We know now what's Makki, what's Madany as physical place, as physical contribution. But when it comes to the Quran, is it related to the place? When I say this surah is Makkiyya, Al-Ayat, مثلا, Madaniyya, are those related to the place? We have several opinions. The first opinion says what? Anything was delivered in Mecca, it's called what? Makki. And the first surah we might think of, the famous opinion that the first surah was delivered to the Prophet as well. Iqra. So now if I open the Quran and you open your app, check the surah, Surah Iqra. What do you see? To make sure you are following me, tell me which chapter it is.
What? I'm sorry.
Surah Iqra.
Oh.
So if you check Surah Iqra,
Is it Surah Al-Alaq?
yes, Surah Al-Alaq. I mean, I used the name Iqra at the beginning of the surah. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, which we call it now nowadays Surah Al-Alaq. Which surah is that? 96. It says Makki. Okay? It says Makki. So they say those surahs that were delivered in Mecca, we call them what? Makki. The surahs that were delivered in Medina, we call them what? Madani. Okay? فعدنا وعليكم السلام. So they are going with what? With physical location. Okay? With physical location. Can you give me a surah that is Madaniya from your app? Surah Al-Baqarah. Yeah, it is Madani. Okay? As per the famous opinion. So here we have Makkiya, we have Madaniya. Can you give me another surah that is Makkiya? After Surah Al-Baqarah, do you find any Makkiya surah? After Surah Al-Baqarah, I'm saying. Like those big surahs. Do we have a big surah that's Makkiya? Al-An'am. Al-An'am, they say it was delivered as one surah. Okay, and it is Makkiya. Keep this in mind, we'll come back to it. So we have Surah Madaniya and we have Surah Makkiya. They said Makkiya was delivered in Mecca when the Prophet used to be in Mecca. And Madaniya was delivered in what? Medina when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Medina. That's the first opinion. The second opinion says, no. What if the Prophet went back to Mecca? Do you consider this surah Makki or Madani? Oh, these people, they came up with another opinion. They said, whether before the immigration of the Prophet or after, whenever the Prophet is, if he is in Mecca, is Makkiya. If he is in Medina, is Madaniya. Regardless whether before his migration or not. That's second opinion. The first one, no. It takes into consideration the place plus the time. So even if there is a surah delivered in Mecca, but after the migration of the Prophet, example would be what? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. They say that was delivered either, you remember in our previous session, some people they say 6 Hijri, some of them 7 Hijri, some of them 8 Hijri, some of them 9 Hijri. If you go open the Quran, I think this is which chapter, 110? If you open the Quran, what is that surah titled as? Makki or Madani? Madani. Okay. So this was before the migration of the Prophet, and it was delivered not in Medina, as they claim. So the first opinion has to do with the physical location, plus taken into consideration what? The time. Yani it has to be delivered in Mecca, and it has to be before the migration of the Prophet. Yani within the 13 years of da'wah. So anything was delivered during that time in that location, we call it what? Makki. So the surah Makkiyah. And anything delivered after in Medina, it's called what? Madani, even if the Prophet maybe not during that period of time, you know. So let's say he is visiting or doing Hajj or whatever, still it is considered what to them? Madani. Why? Madaniya. Why? Because it is delivered after the migration of the Prophet, and the Prophet most of the time was where? In Medina. Yes? Now we are not talking about as content-wise. We're talking about as the definition behind the terminology. I gave an example. You are from Lebanon, you are, then what I call you in Arabic? Lebanese, isn't it? How do you look like? That's a different story. Okay, now we are going with the first definition. So now we talk about two opinions so far. The first one, it's concerned about the migration of the Prophet. That's the reference point. Plus, he used to live in Mecca. Therefore, anything delivered in Mecca is Makki. Madaniya is the other portion. Second opinion has nothing to do with the time, whether before his migration or after his migration. If the surah was delivered in Mecca, we call it what? Makkiyah. But that a problem. Why? You just told me إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ what? It is Madani. Or what if a surah was delivered not in Medina, not in Mecca? What you are going to call it? None of the above? Yes. Yes. Some of them, yeah. They will say, hey, this surah is Makki except that, for instance. Or the opposite. You will have this. But this is a big conflict among the scholars. And why it's a big conflict, I'm going to explain it in a bit. Why do they care whether it's Makkiyah or Madaniyah? There is something important behind it. Something critical. Okay? So the third opinion is what? It said, forget about the time and forget about the place. We care about what? We care about the style. The style, the content. And this is very subjective. So what do you mean? They claim, and some Sunni, they narrate this from some Sahaba, usually Makkiyah talks about primitive things but core at the same time, beliefs. While Madani is more into details. You make wudu this way, you fast this way, you do that, you do not do that. While Makki was more concerned about what? About aqidah, do not worship idols, believe in God, believe in hereafter. And most of the time, they claim the surahs in Makkiyah, of Makkiyah chapters are short, concise. Okay? قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ عَنِ النَّبَإِ الْعَظِيمِ الَّذِي هُمْ فِيهِ مُخْتَلِفُونَ. That's simple. While other surahs, like Surah Al-Baqarah, you have one verse, one page, one verse in one of the, ajza. So they say, based on that, I can consider whether it is Makkiyah or Madani. And they claim that will say, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu. The other one would say, what? Ya ayyuhal nas. But if I want to depend on this, I'm going to be in big contradiction. Okay? Because it is very subjective. So if you want to tell me If I am reading Surah Al-Nasr, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ, short, concise, straightforward. It is Madaniya. Being concise and short did not help me. Or you tell me it's about whether it is يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا or يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ. Even with this, we have some surahs, you claim it is Makkiya, does not match your criteria. So we have a problem. Oh, it's talking about legislations. That's Madani. Well, you said Surah Al-Isra. If I go open Surah Al-Isra, is it Madaniya or Makkiya? I have to keep you busy so you stay awake, okay? Surah Al-Isra, is it Makkiya or Madaniya? Makkiya? Okay, which chapter? Chapter 17, Surah Al-Isra, Al-Nahl, Al-Isra, Al-Kahf, Maryam, all this Makki. And in Surah Al-Isra, the Quran was talking about, let me tell you what is forbidden on you, So it gave some details. And so many ayat. So this is, clearly it's not a solid reference. It's not a solid reference. It's not easy to depend on it because it's very subjective. And definitely we have other opinions, okay? I talked about this before. But overall, we can say we have a general statement. It's not a formula, but a general visualization, how usually Makki surahs used to be and how usually what Madaniya used to be. General visualization, assumptions. But is it a formula, 1 + 1 = 2? No, it is not. It's not easy. It's not easy. For instance, they say, Al-Makki, it talks about morals, talks about akhirah, مثلا talks about so many surahs. The short surah, if you look at them in general, mainly is about what? About al-akhirah, worshipping one God, do not worship idols, do not be like mushrikeen, There is Jannah, there is Nar, there is Hasanat, there is Sayyi'at, isn't it? So now if I open, for instance, any surah, if you take, let's say, Al-Qari'ah. Al-Qari'ah, they say Makkiya. What's Al-Qari'ah? Al-Qari'ah, one of the names of Al-Qiyamah. Al-Qari'ah. Okay? You can feel the noise. Al-Qari'ah. Taqra' al-udhun. Okay? And those names of the Yawm al-Qiyamah, even the way it is put together and selected, it will make you pay attention. القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي. What is it about Jannah and Nar, If I pick another التكاثر ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا. It's all about what? Warning, about Jannah, about talking about akhlaq, about worshipping one God, and just name it. So this is the claim in general. Another suggestion, they say, it's also about what? Meditation, to think. Why? Because in Mecca, you used to care most about what? About people worshipping idols. How I'm going to get you out of it? By showing you what's Jannah, what's Nar, what's good, what's bad, and to make you think. You question this, you question that. It's like when we come to our society. In your life, your mentality, your background, your sort of books that you select is based on what?
on the challenges that you go through. You might change your major because of certain events. I'm talking about as a school-wise or business-wise. Why? Because indirectly you are affected by what? By your environment. In the beginning of da'wah, what's the most important thing? La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, Jannah, Nar, Akhlaq, morals, ethics. And that requires also what? Spirituality, meditation, rationalizing things. Why are you worshiping this? Why are you doing that? So this is another suggestion. The third one is about stories. Stories, for instance, what's the only story that is all mentioned in one place in the Quran? Nabi Yusuf. If I open to Nabi Yusuf, Surah Nabi Yusuf, which chapter? I'm sorry? 12. Yusuf, chapter 12. Okay? What is it? Is it Makkiya or Madaniya? Makkiya. Oh. According to these people, yeah, it is common sense to see it Makkiya. Why? Because in the beginning of Islam, in order to attract you to religion, in addition to meditation, or akhlaq, or jannah, or nar, you need role models. You need something that keeps you attached to the religion. You don't feel lonely. You don't feel the peer pressure. What's the best thing to do? Nowadays, you see younger generation, if they are in trouble, what do? They take their phone and start scrolling. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, which is X. Who knows what's going to be later on. Okay? Or they watch a movie. Or, if they are a little bit social people, they talk to people and listen to their stories, isn't it? Or talk, they want to vent. Islam took advantage of the weaknesses of a human. You like stories? Let me show you what happened to previous nations, and I want to prove to you that they were helped and supported. They won. And they went through so many problems, issues. They suffered, they struggled, they fought. You are not the only person. Look what happened to Yusuf. Look what happened to Ibrahim. Look what happened to Musa. Look what happened to Nuh. Look what happened. So all these stories, what does it do? Make us what? Exactly. Strong. Okay? And this is a very important point, brothers and sisters. When we see people are getting away from Islam, sometimes maybe they are not in need of logical thinking, because they take it for granted there is God and they believe in the Quran. And they believe in all those rulings that you want to tell them it's halal or haram. But yet you see them going what? Astray. Sometimes they need what? Not logical thinking, because they are logical. They need emotional shocks or attraction. And when I say emotional attraction, I'm not talking about, love stories. I'm talking about how I'm going to make you attached to the Quran through your heart. Not only through your logic. Logic is important. And what's the best way to make a person feel with you? Not by saying, yeah, the crack in my bone was this many millimeters, and they put this kind of screw. Does not work this way. Or you come in, I had a pain, I could not walk, this what happened, All of a sudden, people start what? Listening to you. And more than that, people, because they are so much attached to a story, when they want to resend this story, let's use this terminology, on their groups, they don't send it as is. What do they add to it? Spices. So a car accident happened. Yeah, you do not know what happened. You know, I saw one of the tires going, oh, no, 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 no. It's like another Indian movie, okay? With my full respect. They add. And the other person adds more. And the other person, maybe by the end of the series of the chat groups, maybe Superman was involved too. Who knows? Okay? This is way. Even nowadays, they were able to talk to people through what? Fiction. Everybody knows it's fiction. Yet people are what? Watching, and they are so much into it. They want to buy the clothes of Spider-Man, and you know, why? Stories. Now you want to talk to your kids. If you tell them do and do not, they might get mad. The same message, put it in a story. Yeah, I remember you told me, you know, that guy in the story did this. I'm not going to do it. Don't deal. So Islam took advantage of this. But our problem, we did not take advantage of it. How often we see people developing good movies? Okay, we have Yusuf al-Siddiq. طيب يا حبيبي. We watched it 10 times. And what's next? We have Al-Mukhtar. Okay, next. We have Maryam al-Muqaddasa. Next. We come to a point, compared what others are doing, we are very limited. And this is your job, and the job of the people who are listening to me. We have to work on our stories through modern technologies, means, tools. Why I have a free fortnight, but I don't have one that mimics my good morals and ethics? Let people have fun, but get educated a little bit somehow, indirectly. Why I cannot create better platforms, from video games to apps, just name it. It's a portion of storytelling. You know, sometimes you do not play a game because of actions. Sometimes because you like what? The characters, the story, isn't it? Imagine now the game has very bad resolution or bad, rendering. You're not interested. Okay? Or there is no story behind it at all, and you are playing it by yourself. You might find yourself bored. So Quran took care of the stories. Now, you tell me I cannot have, this needs a budget. Okay, make groups, guys. You are in a very advanced country. Don't think in a classical way. I'm not saying classical way is wrong, but we need people, they look at things from different perspective. You are a designer. Take advantage of your design. You are a writer. Show me your short stories, poems. Show me, mashallah, your skills in TikTok and Instagram, and post some good stuff about what's happening. And just name it. So Islam did not just tell people, believe. That's my point. Islam really look after professional means to convince people about what? About the message. From stories to meditation to finding them solutions, to help the poor, to protect their rights, to take care of women's rights, to take care of the families. Islam did not just say believe and it was only in a mosque. No, 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 no. It gave what? Proper solutions. Proper solutions. And this is very critical. So this is a third one, fourth one maybe. When we look at those, we say, yeah, sounds interesting. But you know, you want to tell me Surah Al-An'am is a short, concise surah? It is not. So the answer would be, I can take your points, what's Makki and Madani here, as a general, as I said, a general what? Guidelines. But it is not accurate or precise. Is that clear? Madani on the other side is the opposite. It's talking to the people of in general, as they say. That's their claim. They talk about to the people of the book. They talk about, more legislations in a very detailed way, and just name it. So this is now the story behind Makki and Madani. It's questionable in some of its aspects. Did the Quran say, I am a surah Madaniya and I am a surah Makkiya? No. We as scholars came up with this kind of reference. Why? Why do we care whether it's Makki or Madani? Anybody knows? Yes. Tafsir purposes? Like what?
If it's Makki, it's going to mean a different, like we interpret it differently.
You are close. Anybody has a different point? Yes?
The reason for revelation, like you could explain the pretext of the ayah that why it was revealed. Sometimes it's for the Ahlul Bayt, so it's Madani and it puts more emphasis on that.
Yeah, but why scholars, or some scholars, let's put it this way, cared about whether it is Madani or Makki? Why? What's the advantage? No, not because of this. No, they can. I mean, what's the difference? Whether it's Makki or Madani, what's the difference? Still the same concept, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, but why I care? Why do I care about it? Why do I care? No, we said the Quran itself did not say it. We put it together for a reason. We as a... No.
I think to differentiate, to see the difference, like what Rasulullah was going through in Makkah and what Rasulullah went through in Medina.
Okay. We have several reasons. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'll give you a couple examples. Inshallah, we'll talk about these later on. I don't know how much time left. Okay, we'll still have couple minutes because we have to provide some time for questions and answers. The first one is the biggest one. It's about الناسخ والمنسوخ. Exactly. الناسخ والمنسوخ. This is a topic, we'll discuss it later on. We have a huge group of Muslims, I'm talking about scholars-wise, believe that we have nasikh and mansukh bil Quran among both schools of thought, Sunnah and Shia. What's a nasikh wal mansukh? A nasikh wal mansukh, for instance, تيجي بتقول له مثلا والله الله سبحانه وتعالى, let's put the definition first. A nasikh is the ayah that overrides another ayah. So the ayah that overrides, we call it what? Nasikh. It limit or it change what? A ruling. It's like an update, amendment. Okay? Al-Mansukh is the one that's considered now what? A previous one. So, you have a ruling. You tell me, in this constitution it says, don't do this. I will tell you, yeah, that's about 2 years ago. But we have an amendment. The amendment is like what? Al-Nasikh. And the other one will be Al-Mansukh. This is a simple example. Don't take it literally. Sometimes Al-Nasikh, no. It totally reject the previous ruling as they claim. This is a problem. So how I'm going to know this ayah is halal anymore? You are making people what? Confused. And that's why we have some scholars in Shia school of thought, they say, no, Habibi, you got the nasikh wal mansukh the wrong way. And nasikh wal mansukh, you do not use it to say, yeah, this ayah used to be, say, halal, and this ayah said, it's not halal anymore, it is what? Haram. It's confusing for people. Because we do not read Quran in order. So you might read the ayah, you might assume what? It's like a person telling you, do not drink water. By the end of the letter, drink water. Oh, you confuse me. What do you want me to do now? Okay? You tell me, yeah, but I said by the end of the letter, you should know. Yeah, but guess what? I did not read the beginning of the letter. I just read what? The end of it. It's confusing. So that's why you see some scholars, they say, no, this way of nasikh wal mansukh, we do not see in the Quran. You tell him, so what do you understand from it? That's their claim. They say in nasikh wal mansukh, as that group claims, it's about amendment that put more restrictions or extensions. Yani, it's not going to tell you this is halal, now it is haram. This is halal, but in certain situation might be what? Haram based on certain details. Okay, this is what acceptable. It's like you tell me, do not drink water. Okay? I'm not going to drink water. Do not drink water. It is very general. Now, if you tell me, drink water, okay, I'm confused. There is here a contradiction. I will say, do not drink water unless that water is tahir. Okay, that's better for me. It did not confuse me here. Okay, so this is here what? Like, yeah, a clarification. Some scholars, they say, all this nasikh wal mansukh you are talking about is not the way you understand it. Yani some people, they claim, for instance, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومٍ. They say, this is a reason why, according to Sunni scholars, some scholars, the 10th marriage is haram. Why? Because it said, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ. So there is nasikh wal mansukh. Habibi, you tell him, this is not nasikh or not mansukh. Because 10th marriage is your wife. If you get married with that lady, her mother-in-law, is your mother-in-law. It's like a typical marriage, but with different conditions, little bit. So, what's your proof? He will say, so this is Makki and this is Madani. You tell him, no. The other one is Madani, this is Makki. And here we come to the advantages of Makki and Madani. And nasikh, the one that overrides the hukum, cannot be in Makki. Why? Which one came according to the first opinion? Which one came first, Makki or Madani? Makki. So which one can override the other? The new one or the old one? The new one. So when you give me an ayah that is Makki, and you claim it is overriding Madani, what do I tell you right away? Stop there. You can't, because this is Makki, this is Madani. That's if there is what? Nasikh wal mansukh. You get the idea, or should I repeat it? Again, one of the advantages of the first opinion that claims that Madani means in Medina after the migration of the Prophet, and Makki is in Mecca before his migration. This is one of the advantages. A person comes in, he's telling you, this ayah is saying this ruling is what? Halal. We have another ayah that says it is haram. Okay, how I'm going to combine them? One of the ways they claim, I look whether it's Makki or Madani. If the Madani is saying halal, therefore I disregard what? The previous rulings, because there is nasikh or mansukh. Which one the newer, Madani or Makki? Madani, according to that opinion. But as I said, some scholars, they say, I don't care about this, because I don't believe in nasikh wal mansukh as they claim, the way you believe in. Nasikh wal mansukh has different opinion. Inshallah, we'll talk about it in more details and give you some examples and ayat. They claim it's nasikh wal mansukh. In reality, it's not nasikh wal mansukh. You are going to figure out. It's about a general rule plus what? Specific one. A general rule. And the other one is specific. You cannot say this is nasikh wal mansukh as you are claiming. Because what you claimed is nasikh wal mansukh, they are totally opposite rulings. One is saying halal, the other one is saying what? Haram. This is confusing people. But when I look at it as a general rule, and I have exceptions or limitations or different conditions, okay, that's fine with this definition. You can say this is nasikh wal mansukh that way, okay, I'm fine. As they claim. Is that clear? Another reason, it might help you understand certain events. So if you tell me, let's say a person of one of the Sahaba became Muslim in year 8 Hijri. 8 Hijri, the surah will be Makki or Madani? If delivered during, it's Madani. And you bring me an ayah that says, yeah, this ayah is about this Sahabi. I will say, yeah, Habibi, Sahabi, he was Muslim on the 8th of Hijri. Yani the Quran, the surahs are what? Madani. This surah you are telling me is Makki. How you are claiming it is related to him? So to know the Madani and Makki, according to some scholars, you can use it where? In explaining Quran. Yani if someone tells you, yeah, إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح, it is... okay, I'll give you another example because we took that in previous sessions. تبت يد أبي لهب وتب. If someone comes in and tells you this is Madani, okay, there is a problem here. What's the problem? Because we were saying the Quran predicted the fate, the bad fate of whom? Of Abu Lahab. It says, تبت يد أبي لهب. Yani he is a loser. He's going to go to hellfire. If you tell me that surah is Madani, that means the surah was delivered when? Way after his death. Is it any more a miracle? As a prediction-wise? No, it's not a prophecy. You get the idea? But if it were to be delivered before the death of Abu Lahab, and the Quran was telling Abu Lahab and his wife, you are going to perish and vanish, and you will be punished in hellfire. And after a period of time, that happened. What you are going to say? Oh, this is a miracle. That statement, that prophecy happened. How do I know? Because I look at the surah, it's Makki. Okay, that helped me. You got the idea? So those are some two ideas about, the advantages of Makki and Madani. Definitely we have more stuff to discuss. So many things in the Quran, Asbab al-Nuzul. You tell me in Asbab al-Nuzul, for instance, this huge debate happened between, let's say, the Prophet and Christians, Jews, and Quraysh. And I say, they were in the beginning of Da'wah. It should be more what here? Madani type, more than Makki type. So here I start putting a question mark. Did that happen? Did not happen? Why? Because studying the environment of Makki, Surah al-Makkiyah, it is limited. It's about limited things. In Medina, they had more time to talk, to discuss, to go through details, through more legislations, and just name it, according to the first opinion. So we stop it here. It's a big subject. I gave some examples. We keep it for questions and answers to clarify more stuff. أقول قولي هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.